Hey all. So I was talking about how we can use layers now when we're editing in Midjourney, and I know some of you didn't know that we could do this or how to do it. So I want to just do a little simple video and look at some of the features that we can use to do the advanced editing. So there's a couple ways to go to the editing. So we have the button down in the bottom when we're in on our image, we can go to edit. Now this brings us into one version of editing, which they've changed a lot of stuff around, and we can just do our smart select, we can um, resize, we can do all the usual things that we were able to do before in the editor. But if we open in the edit tab in the bottom, we get into the more advanced editor. And in this version here, we have layers. And the layers is what I really find interesting and I've been playing around with. So I'm going to start with this image. I'm going to add and do a composite of a bunch of different images that I've put in. So I want to add a layer. So I'm going to do, I didn't copy it. Let me go and actually grab the ID on the other one. Whoops. So I have these little people that I made. So I'm going to go to the top. You can actually download it and re-upload it, but I'm just going to do copy image URL. So let me go back to my image that I was working with, and we're going to go back to edit, and I'm going to do open in edit tab. So now I'm going to add my layer, and I'm going to do add from URL, and I can put the URL from the other image. Click OK. And once we've started working on it, you can actually flip around and it'll save your space. So what I want to do is I want to add these little people into my scene, and then maybe I'll use a little bit of actual in-painting with it as well. So the first part is obviously these don't go together, so I need to blend them in. So I have my layer selected, and I'm going to use my Smart Select, and it's not really picking enough of my image, so I'm going to have to click around. So I'm finding it's a little bit difficult when there's multiple subjects. So these two are mostly selected, so I'm actually just going to take them out. I'm not worried about the fact that they're like cut really poorly because I'm going to fix those up. So I'm going to drop them on the table. Now they're still kind of just floating here right now, but we're going to fix that. And maybe I'm going to bring them a little bit closer here. Maybe I'll just do these two for now. So it's really choppy. I have a little bit of green in there still, so I'm not going to go to my paint, but I'm going to switch layers. I'm not going to change it on this layer. I bring my brush down. Just want to clean up some of those areas with some green. That's it. So now I'm going to switch layers, and I'm going to use my brush. I can probably go a little bit bigger. So what I'm doing now is I'm selecting in the layer behind, and I'm going over the edges, all the areas that are a little bit pixelated and not quite right. Because it's behind them, I'm not too worried about how much I'm taking out. And then we probably want some shadows for them, and the light's coming from the other direction. So I might add a little bit over here just to get some shadows in. So now I need my prompts. I'm going to write 2 miniature people standing on a table looking up. And I can submit. So now my little miniature people are blended in, and I can look through the different versions. I could have also made them a bit smaller. In fact, I think I do want to go back and make them a bit smaller. So I'm going to go back to what I'd already done. And I'm going to undo my changes here. I'm going to go back to layer 1. I'm going to shrink these guys up. So switching to move, resize, shrink them. And back to layer 2. And I'm going to use my erase tool. And again, I'm just going to go fill in all those areas that need to be fixed up. So I'm just going to paint out the background area where they stand. Just take the whole thing. I still have my prompt, so I'm going to submit again. So I'm sort of okay with this one. I think I would probably work on it a little bit more, given some time. But I came in with kind of rough figures to work with to begin with. So we'll try them. So now let's say I want to add to my scene even more. So I want to add a hand giving the little people a piece of cheese. So I'm going to add that by importing my own file where I've made the image already. There's my hand. So I'm going to need to move and resize that. And I'll need to take out the background. So you can do the smart select. And I need the cheese too. And I need to exclude a part here. So for whatever reason, the exclude was really not working for me. So I went about it a different way. Do the erase background. I'm going to use my paint. And I'm going to go in and just deal with all of these little white areas. And I'm not worried if I go over the hand, because it's just going to fill it back in. So I'm going to go back now into layer 2 for the next part. And I'll bring my brush size up a little bit. And I need to actually change that in layer 2 so I can have not just an erase segment, but here I'm telling it there's an area that needs to be redrawn. So now I can submit my edit. So my hand is now filled in and blends with the scene. So let's say I want to add maybe just one more thing in here. You'll notice too, like every time that I make this change, it collapses my layer back down, but I can just add another one. So I'm going to do add from file again. And I'd made this little wagon full of food crumbs. So I'm going to bring that one in. I'm just going to move it and resize it. Now, if I'd brought this in a little bit earlier, I would have been able to maybe place it behind them. But I'm going to bring it pretty close to them. And I'll try my smart select again. And so here I've brought in a bunch of different things. So from here I can now upscale it to my gallery, or I can try retexturing it. So for retexturing, I can go into the tab at the top here for retexture. And so if I want to do this as an oil painting, and then we can try retexturing. So you'll notice it adds an R when I'm processing these images to indicate it's retextured. And here we can see that it does give it a bit of a different style. It's not really so dramatic. My prompt was probably a little bit weak because I'm getting cheese in the cart instead of food. So I'm going to try and retexture it using my personalization code as the guide. And I'm just going to submit retexture. So I filled in my profile, my generic profile personalization code. So one thing I'm noticing is that it keeps just making the cart look strange with cheese in it. So I would probably have to add back into my prompt specifically what's in the cart again. But we can see that it'll take the same composition and give it a different look.